5 Reasons We Do Not Worship in Our Spare Time by Krishna's Mercy. Anyepi tva hanishyanti vadishyanti janastvidam. Asuroyam suranstauti marjar iva mushkan. Dvishyan shikhiva phanino durnimittamidam dhruvam. Labdhvapi mahadaishwaryam laghavam yantya buddhayah. Quote, others will also ridicule and scorn, saying, "This child is an asura, but prays to the gods. It is like a cat offering prayers to a mouse or a peacock to a snake. This is indeed a bad omen, behavior resembling an enemy, as even after obtaining great wealth and power, an unintelligent person can fall down." Hiranyakashipu, speaking to Prahlada, Narasimha Purana, 41:59-60. 1. We have too much going on.
Work, school, tasks, studies, learning, responsibilities, cleaning the dishes, clearing out the dishwasher, cooking food, making sure everyone wakes up on time, paying the bills, fixing stuff that is broken, i.e. repairs. Making plans for the long term, such as where to live in the future, where to go on vacation, how to maneuver the latest regulations passed by the corrupt government. You want to know about yagya and bhajana, but where is the time? We barely have a moment to ourselves, to settle down, to gather our thoughts. We watch television for a reason. We make playlists of music to relax. There is no other way. It is to maintain our sanity. What do you expect out of us?
2. We follow a schedule.
Yes, it is nice, I must admit. It is a reminder of our lack of control. We are not Satya Sankalpa. Vikalpa is the more appropriate Sanskrit term to describe our situation. We cannot manage outcomes with 100% certainty. There is always a degree of faith involved. We must pray that things will go as planned, that everyone will be safe. We worship, but it is on a schedule. In the morning, in the evening, we offer a little water, chant a hymn, and light some incense sticks. We are not atheists. Trust me. We appreciate all the blessings we have received. We have not necessarily been instructed to go beyond this. I am not sure what you are asking. Do you think we are slacking? Should we be punished based on the schedule that we do follow? Would we be placed in the remedial class in a school dedicated to teaching the Sanatana Dharma culture?
3. We do as we are told.
This is the tradition we were born into. This is the tradition we inherited from our ancestors. Not that I am into competition or creating a rivalry, but I think it is a nice tradition. Very quietly, for your ears only, I will say that this is the best tradition. It is all-encompassing. It appeals to all kinds of sentiment. There is basic worship. There is also study. If you want to really understand the science of an existence, there is more than enough material to consume. If you simply want to give thanks, to pay your respects, there is a steadiness in a vow, vrata. That is what we follow. We adhere to vratas as they are passed down. We do not make anything up. Is this not what Krishna himself warns against in Bhagavad-gita? Why would we deviate from what has been assigned to us? Is that not the best way to respect the people who came before us? Yash shastra vidhimutsrijya vartate kamkarat. Na sa siddhim avapnoti na sukham na param gatim. Quote, but he who discards scriptural injunctions and acts according to his own whims attains neither perfection, nor happiness, nor the supreme destination. Lord Krishna, Bhagavad-gita, 16:23.
4. We prepare when there is a need.
If we have recently purchased a new vehicle, if someone is getting married, if our child has an important examination upcoming, one that will determine their future course of study, if something tragic has taken place recently, if we are mourning, if we are celebrating a joyous occasion. These are various reasons for deviating from the well-established schedule. These are justifications for extra moments of worship, if you will. We worship when the situation calls for it. This is the process passed down to us. We respect that process. We do not introduce anything new.
5. We will not fit in with others.
Imagine the situation. A neighbor pays a visit. They unexpectedly knock on the front door. They embody the very definition of oddity. They are the guest who arrives without prior notice. It is not that a letter necessarily precedes their arrival. They do not place a phone call in anticipation of their visit. We treat them like a diva. They are a god who has blessed us with their presence. They happen to notice our activity at the time. They have unknowingly interrupted some kind of formal ritual. Except it is not formal. It is not a ritual that fits into the calendar of observances slated for the upcoming year. They wonder what we are doing. They politely inquire as to the occasion, as to why we are dressed nicely, sitting in front of an altar, reading a sacred text and singing songs. What will our answer be? Will we say that we simply felt like it? That we were in the mood for connecting with higher beings? That will sound silly. It won't make any sense. They will never understand. They will think that we are trying to outpace them in the race to be pious. They will assess against their own behavior and start to feel deficient. Why would we want to make them feel inferior in that way?
The Sanskrit word yagya is synonymous with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is another way to address him, in fact. Despite the variety to implementations of yagya, there is always one person supporting them. Even if the worshipper has ill intent, is looking for boons that will cause havoc and destruction, they must receive the sanction of the Almighty in order to succeed. Sattaya shraddhaya yuktastasya aradhanamihati, labte cha tata, kaman mayeva vihitan hitan. Quote, endowed with such a faith, he seeks favors of a particular demigod and obtains his desires. But in actuality, these benefits are bestowed by me alone. Lord Krishna, Bhagavad-gita 7:22. Irrespective the specific intent, mention of yagya tends to bring to mind images of a sacrificial fire, offerings of items like ghee and rice, with associated chants of Sanskrit words. There is a sort of formality to the affair. This is the reason for the schedules, for the enumerated intentions, for the concern over straying from well-established traditions. For these reasons, it may seem odd to encourage the extension of yagya into a way of life. Instead of worshiping in specific places, at designated times, for purposes aligning with the typical human experience, make the entire existence yagya. Sacrifice everything for the Supreme Lord in the manner that Krishna directly recommended to his dear friend. Yat karoshi yad ashnasi, yad juhoshi dadasi yat tapasyasi konteya, tat kurushva mad arpanam. Quote, O son of Kunti, all that you do, all that you eat, all that you offer and give away, as well as all austerities that you may perform, should be done as an offering unto me. Lord Krishna, Bhagavad-gita 9:27. There are so many valid justifications for not expanding beyond established protocol in the systematic worship of God, but we see that these concerns were absent in a young boy who lived in the community of Daityas. Adults are known to excuse such intense affiliation when seen in children. If the child was not specifically taught a specific kind of worship, it makes the practice more endearing, as the child does not even know what to ask. They are too young to exploit the process, to look for some gain that they will then run with, leaving God in the rearview mirror. In that Daitya kingdom, the child named Prahlada was known to write different names of Hari. This was on his slate, which is like the equivalent of a notebook today. In the modern day, a child might write the names of the people they like, the parents, the friends. They might make drawings of the logos of the musical artists they prefer, or perhaps a comic book character, or someone from a movie they recently watched. Since Prahlad was writing the names of Vishnu, he was engaged in worship. He did not necessarily sit in front of a fire and offer oblations. He was not necessarily concerned with the time of the day or what was to be gained in the process. Writing a holy name is just as good as chanting it. Writing that name helps to remember the person the name describes. Remembering Hari is just as good as being with Hari. Amazingly, the father of Prahlad strongly objected. He could not believe the child was inclined towards the enemy of the kingdom. This was the view of Hiranyakashipu, who happened to also be the king. How could the king's son go in the complete opposite direction of the king? How could the son openly betray and embarrass the father? More than just a waste of the time spent in school, of utilizing moments to spare, Prahlad was worshipping the wrong person. Hiranyakashipu compared it to a cat offering prayers to a mouse, a peacock intentionally being subordinate in front of a snake. Such things simply do not occur in a sane world. The inferior should live in fear of the superior. Vishnu should be dishonored. Vishnu should not be erroneously elevated in stature. But Prahlad had his inclination, and it was not going to change. Whether sitting in school or being harassed at home by the inimical father, Prahlad was going to stay connected. His entire life was yagya, and due to that allegiance, he ended up becoming the greatest symbol of sacrifice this world has ever known. Quote, "For the devotees there is no need for performance of prescribed sacrifices, because the very life of the devotee is a symbol of sacrifice." Srila Prabhupada, Srimad Bhagavatam, 1:16-20 purport. In closing, through innocent allegiance shown, greatest symbol world has ever known, of sacrifice through simple way, writing names as child's play, the father harsh words to say, that such worship family to betray. But Prahlad strong even in time to spare, fixed in worship both here and there.